Sue, the Relationship Builder, and thank you for joining Sue, the Relationship Builder podcast. And I want to talk today about love versus lust in a relationship. And before I get started, I want to encourage you to subscribe to Sue the Relationship Builder podcast. There are episodes that are simply audio, and there are episodes that obviously you can see visually. So today I don't have a particular guest, but I do want to talk about love versus lust. Sue the Relationship Builder podcast mission is to help people start, build, and maintain relationships, of course. And so with this topic today, I wanted to just talk just briefly about love versus lust. How can we decipher the difference? In the last few months, I've had a lot of one on one sessions with individuals regarding conflict and challenges in their relationship. And they have been with people who are single as well as people who've been in marriages. And the marriages have been people who've been in marriages a significant amount of time. And I guess that's subjective depending on what you consider a significant amount of time. So I'm going to say people who've been in marriages between 10 years and at least 25. And so that to me is significant considering the times that we're in, because when you look at marriage and the divorce rate, which we're not going to talk about that today, but when you look at the stats from the U.S. Census Bureau, within the last maybe 10 years, the marriage rate has kind of been 50% married, 50% not married. And it's really changing, not just here in the United States, but just globally. Those who are single, I've spoken with them who've had challenges staying in relationships and trying to decipher if they really love an individual or if it's just a physical attraction solely. And these are people who obviously have been in relationships, I'll say, based on the people that I've spoken with the last few months. I said at least 6 months to at least 3 years. So that's just a little snapshot based on people that I've spoken with. And I really wanted to come on this particular episode and just talk about it briefly. These are made based on my beliefs. These are based on some data that I've researched, and this actually from the individuals who I've spoken with. So, when it comes to social media and anything that is out there, people have their own different views, and they may not agree with what I've said, and that's simply okay. And there may be people who agree with what I say, and that's simply okay. Either way, it does not matter. I am just providing to those who are willing to listen and take heed as another avenue just to listen to find out what I have found out from my experiences and data about the difference between love and lust. And so, one thing that I do want to also include in my preface here is that, again, I am not going to say to people, you need to stop a relationship or start a relationship. But again, my mission for Sue the Relationship Builder podcast and the other things that I do and resources that I provide is simply to help people start, to kickstart them and to give them some resources on how to maintain and to build on what they already have. And when we talk about relationships, it does not always mean sexual. It does not always mean platonic. It can mean various things. So, but let me just go ahead and start. So when we look at the word love, most people see that as a positive word, and some people see it as a negative word, believe it or not, because some people may have had some experiences in feeling love, or they thought they felt love, and it probably was. In some instances, not. They may have had some not so successful experiences. But in this aspect, I'm going to talk about love as a positive thing. And love is a good thing. because love is so broad and so wide. But I think love is the most significant thing that anyone can possibly have in their lives. You know, we love our loved ones, our family members. Some of them we're irritated with. We love our children. We love our friends. We love our parents. You know, we love people who we've been in relationships with in the past. We may not be with them, and people that we're with. So those are just examples. So, you know, depending on how your experience is, it may be different, but those are some examples. But, you know, through the word of God, it says the love is patient, love is kind. So these are different things that are noted and said when I'm just giving snapshots, not the whole entire thing as I'm giving it to you, but just giving you snapshots. And so love to me, based on what I've seen from my studies, and also my foundation is for a spiritual one, is that love brings grace. Love brings, to me, it's like a warm blanket. And so I want to talk about that. So there are certain things that I know where people have become bitter, angry, and hurt based on some experiences that they may have been involved in, where they thought someone loved them and they hurt them through whatever has happened, without me drilling down. But people may put a insignificant feel on love and say, you know what, I'm not going to open my heart up anymore to be loved, or I'm not going to go down that road again because of fear of being hurt, fear of being rejected, fear that the person won't love them, or if they love this person, that the person may not feel the same way. And so when we look at lust, lust is that feeling of not necessarily I'm in love with that person, but I want to experience them as well. So, but when we look at those things, it seems to me from the individuals that I've spoken with in the last few months, as I indicated, who've had some significant challenges, is that they love, and they say they love the other person that they're in a relationship with. So the single people as well as the married people. And I actually believe them. Some people will say, well, how can someone love someone if they're hurting that person, if they cheated on that person, or if they've done something bad to that person? But people can love people and do certain things like that. You may not believe that if you have that thought process about, oh, if you love someone, you won't hurt them. But people can hurt people without knowing that they hurt people. People can say things that to a person and hurt them, but not knowing that what they said hurt that person, but it doesn't mean that they don't love that person. So it's just like we have our children. They may do something that we don't agree with, and it may hurt our feelings, but we still love them. Or it may be with your parents. They may chastise you when you grew up. They may have put you on restriction or spanked you, but they still love you. Or they may have done something to you that you didn't like, a friend, but they still love you. So that is what I'm saying. But some people do believe, for some reason, oh, if this person did something or had an ought against me, they don't love me. But let me tell you something. You've done something to someone that you've hurt them, but they still love you. But again, people can say the sky is blue outside, and somebody can come back and say, oh, it's not blue, it's aqua. So people will always debate about things, but when they do that, to me, that even signifies something else that's going on with them. And so that's just my belief. Because when we continue to spot out and on things that just to have discord with each other, to me, that is not a sound spirit. So, but back into what I was saying. um, but yeah, so those are the things that I can kind of say. But getting back to the lust piece, you can love someone and have lust. and you can lust someone and have love. But you can love someone and not have lust, and you can lust someone and not have love. So hopefully you got all of that. And so everybody's situation is totally different. But some of the things that I found from talking with the individuals, single and married, who are having issues is that people are more concerned about what I found, more concerned about what they want out of a relationship without really looking at themselves. And it's not saying that they are the wrong person or the right person, and vice versa for the other. I do believe that we always want to change the other person when there is an issue without looking at ourselves. And sometimes the other person could be wrong and may be wrong, but we just automatically go to, you need to do this, and you did this, and you need, 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 without looking at ourselves. And so I think that the first action that can be taken is that we look at ourselves and say, what can we do to change the action of the other person, even when it's not our fault? Because what we do also can determine how things shift in a relationship. So I guess you say, Sue, what does that mean? I don't really understand that, because they the one who's done all the wrong and I've done all the right. So one thing could be an example. If that person, they're going to go off the radar, they're going to get upset, and the top of the pot is just going to go off, and they're just going to be crazy and just all upset or whatever. So that means that you're going to come back in and you're going, okay, he's saying this or she's saying this, so they're not going to say that to me, and yada, yada, yada. But yeah, the way you can change it is not respond the way that they respond. But that takes a very strong person. Are you strong enough to do that? Are you smart enough to do that? And when you're strong enough to do that, you can notice the shift, because sometimes they just need to let it explode. And sometimes when you just sit there and they just let it explode, you never know what may happen. Not saying that that would happen 100% in every case, but you will see a shift. So that's one example. The other example is, okay, this person always cheat and they always going out and they're always doing this. And I've been doing the best that I can do or whatever. So there could be different reasons for that. Some instances you can be doing all of the right things and that person can still go out and do and practicing infidelities. And then you can be doing something that's different. It's not saying it's wrong, but it may be for whatever reason. But if a person has a spirit of this is just what they're going to do, that has nothing to do with you. That may just have be with that what's going on with them, that they cannot be monogamous. And in some relationships, some people accept that. And that's not for me or you or anyone else to say, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if it was me. My man wouldn't be doing that. My woman wouldn't be doing that." Okay, that's fine. But you don't always have to put your 2 cents in out your mouth to say what you would do and what someone else would do. We have to learn how to not attack. And we're in a society where people are constantly attacking one another for no apparent reason, because everyone seems to be tired, bitter, angry, hurt. And so they just in the attack mode for people they don't even know. I mean, it's very obvious on social media because you see it all of the time when people just go straight off the radar over something that really you just said, hey, I'm eating an ice cream cone today. And somebody's like, well, why you eating ice cream? And that ice cream is not the best, so somebody's going to always find something negative to say, but we have to make sure that we don't allow and let these negative spirits to get into ourselves where we're looking at other people and blaming them for everything. So I do want to say that you can't project how you live on other people. So what I'm saying is about the sky is blue and then somebody saying it's aqua, or you eating ice cream as an example, and I don't eat ice cream. Okay, that's fine. Everybody do things totally different. Relationships are totally different. There are people who live monogamous, traditional relationships and fine. There are people who live non-monogamous relationships, open relationships, and they're fine. So we live in a world that people are doing all types of different things, but we have to stay in our lane to focus on what we're doing. Because you think that everything is the way that you do it, if it's supposed to be right, that's your world. But we have to also look at the way people love is different from the way we may possibly love. So in me saying all of that, I'm bringing it back to that, because somebody's definition of love for them may be different for the definition of love for you. And when you meet different people, everybody is different. So when you're meeting someone for the first time, that to me is okay, I'm excited. I got to find out more about this person. This person seems to be really engaging. I'm having these feelings of, ooh, I'm attracted to them. There's the physiological piece that's going on with compatibility and the physical part. And then all of it's exciting. He's calling her, she's calling him, or vice versa. They're dating, they're going out. It's more frequency of communication. And the way I see it is, on the surface, you're seeing on the surface. So are people really bringing their true, real selves? And with that, then the relationship may start shifting some. It will probably start shifting some where you don't talk as much every day, or you may not feel all of that you felt in the very beginning. In some instances, it could be. And then in some instances, the intimacy comes in, where there's an intimate thing, be it that if it's sexual or non-sexual, there's that excitement as well. And so that other decipher goes on. Okay, of course, in the beginning, it may not be love in the beginning. It could be lust in the beginning. So I'm just keeping it real. And as that goes on, then you're still learning about each other. You're learning from the day one when you met that person. And then things may start shifting. The communication may start shifting. It may not be as frequently, or it may have been, oh, I really enjoy this time, the conversation, the intimacy, whatever. Or maybe I don't enjoy how this person does this. And then these things start kind of coming out. I don't like the way that she did this, or she said this, or he. So then you start noticing the shifts and changes in the relationship. And this is normal. But what happens, people start to give up immediately. It's like, oh, I can't deal with that, because I remember when I was with this other person and they hurt me and this happened. I'm just cutting it off. I ain't got time for that. And what happens, you find out you're going through the repeated cycle with everyone that you meet, and you cut it off. You cut it off because you immediately don't want to, you put your hands up, but you don't do that in your profession. You don't do that when you go to work. Them folk get on your nerves at work, but you go because you know you got to have your money or your livelihood or whatever. And you will suffer with that, but you won't take the chance to even go through just the fundamentals of being in a relationship. People are smart in their profession or education, but they're not smart in their relationship building skills. And that is very disappointing. When you look at, again, going back to the numbers of relationships, 50% married, 50% not married. In some cases, the numbers have shifted up and down, 51% divorce rate, and so forth. People are not getting married. People are doing different things than they traditionally have done. People are giving up on relationships very fast. People are giving up on family very fast. And one of the significant things with numbers is with African American females. They are the ones who are in those high rates as far as divorce, and they're educated. Black women have the high numbers of being educated versus our Black males. But when it comes to relationships, we are kind of, the numbers are not good. The data does not show well. So it makes me want to drill down more. And I've been drilling down more to find out really what's behind that. And I'm going to do another episode just to simply talk about that. That's going to really blow your mind. But also, what I wanted to say is that there are layers in relationships. When we're so willing to give up so soon, let me tell you something. You're never going to be in a relationship that's going to be fruitful when you want to give up so soon. And one thing I will say, when you start a relationship, there will be challenges, there will be arguments, there will be upsets, there will be things that you won't like. So be it if it comes from you or if it comes from the other party in the relationship. But we have to really get in our minds that we have to work on ourselves first and not look at the other individual all the time. That seems to be the issue. Even when I was talking with the married couples and the singles, everybody is pointing their fingers at everybody else instead of looking at themselves. And it's very difficult to do that, especially when that person is hurting you or that person is doing certain things. Some of the examples that I've heard and I'm dealing with helping other couples, and it's so sad because you see people who love each other, and I can tell that they love each other because they're sticking it out but fighting. Due to finances, due to people that have been married or in relationships, that one person is here and their growth is like this. I keep saying this over and over and over and over again. And when I say growth, the things that they liked and wanted from day one, when they were looking at each other, they were all on the same page and so in love. And they've had different things to happen, career changes, children, some instances grandchildren, interest change, career shift change, family, their family, his family, her family, things have happened. And then the interest change, and then this person ends up not taking care of themselves, and this person is really focusing on taking care of themselves. This person now has an interest in this area. This person is stuck right here, and this person is here, and this person is still stuck right here. But the stuck is not based on that person, it's based on what's going on with them. And what I found is that what they were stuck with is something that happened before they even met. They were separate before they even met. But what's been bottled down starts to come up and it's stuck. And then it starts messing with the mind. It starts messing with, well, I'm not going to take care of myself anymore. I let my weight go. I don't care how I look. Or I don't want to be sexually intimate anymore. My mind is over here. My parents are sick, or my kids are getting on my nerves, and my job is so stressful and all of that. And all of these things go on. And then I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to cook. I'm going to cook, but then I don't want to go on vacation. The money we got, the money is not as good, it's tight. So we're not going to go out. It's like we used to go out, but we're going to do this with the kids. And before you know it, the relationship is up in shambles. It's dry. Somebody's went out and cheated, or if they don't want to cheat. They've been begging and asking their spouse to be intimate. They've been begging and asking their spouse, let's go out on a date. I don't want to do that. But then this person says, well, I don't know why this person is doing this, because I'm all of this to them and I'm this to them. And that is what I have been hearing for the last few months from people, single, married people. And then I said, oh my God, people are going through this so much, where people have left the relationship, where people have legally divorced, or they just separated, not legally. And they are tired. They are hurt. They want their marriages to work. They want to be married if they're single. These are the people that I've been talking to. This is real, to the point to where people are physically getting sick, or people are mentally having mental breakdowns, or people are feeling like they want to give up on life because their relationships are in so much of shambles. Because the other person is saying to the other person, you did this and you did this, and they're saying you did this and you did, and no one is looking at themselves. So this is what is going on. This is what's going on. There is no solid foundation of prayer. There's no solid foundation of forgiveness. There's no solid foundation of let's go get therapeutic help. Let's go get counseling. Let's stop everything and just focus on ourselves as individuals before we can even focus on our relationship. So that's what's going on. It's what's going on. So are we willing in relationships to not give up on having a relationship? There are people out there that saying, I don't want to love. I don't even want to lust. I don't even want to have a relationship. I don't want to ever see myself getting married. You know what? Because you keep telling yourself that. There are people out there who are having successful relationships, short term and long term. But you're not saying it about your career. You're not giving up about on your business, but you're giving up on yourself on love. You're giving up on yourself on having a relationship. Shame on you. Shame on you that you will put yourself last, that you would cheat yourself on having a prosperous relationship with yourself before you have it with another person. You know what? You're letting fear take over your life. You're letting fear take over your love life. You're having fear take over in cheating you and stealing from you to have a successful relationship. Everybody in this universe is many people out here, and you're saying, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. I don't want to love anymore. Or you may not be saying that, but you may be saying, hey, it's hard out here to find the right person. Stop saying all of that. You're going to go in a relationship and somebody's going to hurt your feelings. That's that. You're going to hurt somebody's feelings too. That's that. But you have to be willing to work at it. You work at it. When you have business deals, things don't always go the way that you want them to go when you have a business deal, but you don't just say, oh, I'm just done with my business, or I'm at work. I'm just done with going to work because I know I need to get my money at the end of the week, or however you get paid, and your benefits and supplies. You don't give up on your children. Your children may hurt you. You don't give up on them. That's love for yourself. That's love. And just because you date someone and it may not go the way that you want it to go, they can still be a friend. They don't have to be your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. They can be their friend. I know that person ain't good at doing this, but I know they're good at going to the bookstore and finding nice books together, or I know they're good to hang out with, or I know they're good because of whatever. Then put them in that category. We all are here. We need each other. And so I just want to say this. I may not have even said the difference between love and lust, but I just know that I'm passionate about helping people to love one another unconditionally, even when they cheat. And some people, oh, if somebody cheat on me, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Okay, you're done. But you may do something to somebody, it may not be cheating, but it could be something else. And then they say they're done. But this is the thing. Let's stop giving up on ourselves in love. Let's stop giving up on others who we're in relationships with. Yeah, you may have a lust of that person and you may not love them, and it's simply okay. You can still be in a relationship with them. You just have to make sure that you put some barriers up and borders if you know, in that case. And also in love. You know, when I think about conflict normally when conflict comes because people want power, people want respect, control, or they want to be right. That's just the bottom line. So when that conflict comes, and the other thing that I wanted to say is in a relationship, we have to look at our connection, our chemistry, and compatibility and accountability. So we have to look at those things. And I'm not going to drill down on all of those, but those are things that you have to look at. You may not be compatible, but you may be madly in love with each other, and that is fine. I think it's beautiful. Their opposites attract all day long. You may have a list. You may need to get rid of your list because the list that you have could be handicapping you and cheating you of what God has for you out here. Date, date different people. If you're not in a monogamous relationship, especially if monogamous mean I'm with this one person, but if you just out here and you just dating and you got friendship, I say, hey, date different people. I'm not telling you to have sex with different people, but I'm saying you can date different people and let them know, because it's just like you got different friends, different friendships, and you're going to hang out with your different friends, same thing. And they may be doing the same thing, whoever you date. They may be dating different people. So it's okay. You know, everybody has different things that they want. So as I end, women need to be women and men need to be men. Men need to feel comfortable in their masculinity. Women need to feel comfortable in their femininity. And what I mean by that, your love and lust can be also be determined by that. And what I mean by that is this. Sometimes we as women, we are so fast to be in that masculine role, especially when we're in a position of always having to do it all, even if we're a leader in our job or leader in other areas of our lives and in relationships, we'll tend to do that as well. But we have to also stop and look sometime and say, you know what, I need to pull back a little bit. I need to allow the man to be a man and have his masculinity, because sometimes we can jump so and take that masculinity away. And men don't like that. And sometimes men will be afraid to tell you that, but they'll go to someone else and kind of start pulling back and dating you and seeing you, because now in the beginning it was all ooh ah, but as they get to learn you, it's like, you know what, she's a little bit too, you know, she's trying to tell me what I need to do and how I need to do it. And I've gotten that from men. Some women will disagree, but the ones who disagree are the ones who are still single. Because your femininity is very powerful and you got to learn how to use it. God has given it to us. And you have to learn how to not be so harsh, not to be so hard, not to be so what I say goes and all of that stuff. We have to know how to do that. And so, men, their masculinity, women, we're expecting you to be a man who knows how to be gracefully leading, gracefully with your masculinity, and not so harsh, not to be the type of man to be hard, violent, but to also say, you know what, calm down, babe, calm down. I got it. I got it. We need that. Or to even just pour into us. Of course, we're going to pour into you, but we need that as well. And some people say women like the bad guy. Some women like bad guys, whatever that term means, you know, it's subjective. And some want a good man, whatever that term means to you. So again, what you think is your way is not everybody's way. But God has given us so many special blessings that we fail to use them and to be more vulnerable with people, more respectful. And I think once we become more respectful, our love will come out even more, where we will have grace towards others. And when you have grace towards others, that shows love. When you can respect others, that shows love. When you can do what you would do for yourself for that other person before you even do it for yourself, that's love. The lust part is when I see you, I just want to drop down or jump your bones, and that's all I want to do. And afterwards, I'm gone. So that's lust. um, you know, we still have the opportunity every day we get up to love one another. And I am so happy that you've taken the time to sit here and listen to me, Sue the Relationship Builder. And the door there, let's walk into a new door of life, of relationship, healthy relationships, and willing to walk through the door where we are not willing to give up so soon on each other. Nobody's giving up on you. God is not giving up on you. So I want to say that. This is Sue, the Relationship Builder, and I'm so glad that you've had an opportunity to sit here and listen to me. And hopefully, you gain something out of this episode that can help you to be a better person and to learn how to love more so than have lust.